Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial will be on this stylish overlap blouse. That's what we'll be making today. And if this is your first time of stopping by, do well to hit on the subscribe button, join the family, and to my own subscribers I say thank you very much for all your support. So let's get straight into the video. So for this tutorial, I've gone ahead to mark out all my horizontal lines. So I have my bust line, my under bust, my waistline, and then the full length of this blouse. So once I am done with that, we are going to go ahead and insert our basic neckline. I am sorry for the noise, which is 3 inches, and then for the depth, you are marking 1 inch for the depth for this basic neckline. So we are marking the back of this blouse first before we go on to the front bodies. So I'll go ahead and connect this with my curve ruler. Once I am done with that, I'm going to go ahead and mark the my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and then I'll come down by 1 inch. At that point, I'll connect it into my neckline. Once I am done with that, from that I'm going to go ahead and mark my chest line, which is my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Whatever you have for yours, please do well to insert that, and then you're going to connect it. So this is our chest line. So once I am done with that, I'll bring the line coming from the shoulder into the chest line so that we'll be able to mark out our armhole. So from there, I'm going to divide what I have here. I'll make a point there, and then at that point I'll come in by half an inch, and then I'll mark my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll make a mark there. I'll go ahead and connect these 3 points together with my curve ruler. So guys, this is what we have at this point. Once we are done with that, we're going to go ahead and insert our nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 6 inches divided by 2 is 3 inches. So that's what I am marking from my bust to my waistline to the full length of this blouse. And then I'll connect this with my straight ruler to the full length of the blouse. Sorry about that. So once I am done with that, from my waistline I'm taking half inch for my dart. From my bust point I'm coming down by 1 inch, and then I'll connect it to that waistline. So guys, once we are done with this, we are going to go ahead and measure from our waist to where our hips stop for this blouse, and mine is about 5 inches. So I'll make a mark there, and then I'll connect this. If yours doesn't extend into the waist, into the hip line, there's no need measuring it, but because mine extended, so that's why I'm trying not to make the dart to get to my hip line. So once we are done with that, so this is what we have. So we're going to go ahead and insert our body measurements. I've already done for the bust already. So I'll insert my under bust measurement divided by 4. I'll measure whatever I have at the dart area. I'll make a mark there. You can add your stitching allowance if you want to at this point, or you can just do it when you want to transfer to your fabric. I'll repeat the same process for the waist. I'll make a mark. I'll measure whatever I have at the dart, which is 1 inch. I'll replace it, and then I'll add my stitching allowance to it. And I'll do the same thing for the hip. My hip divided by 4, I'll make a mark there, and then I'll add my stitching allowance, which is 1 inch, and then I'll go ahead and connect all these points with my ruler. So guys, this is what we have at this point. So I'm just bringing up this line to meet that waistline. Once we are done with that, we are going to come up from the hemline by 1 inch. I'll make a mark there, and then I'll connect it to the blouse length. Once we are done with that, we are going to go ahead and cut this out. So it's basically a basic blouse pattern that we're trying to cut out. So for the front pattern, you're going to be having your pattern paper folded into 2 because it's a wrap blouse. So once I'm going ahead to mark out my horizontal line, so my chest line, bust, under bust, my waistline, and then the length of this blouse, just like we did for the front. So once I am done with that, I'm going to go ahead and mark our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 on our bust point and the length of this blouse, and then I'll connect it with a straight ruler. Once I am done with this, the next thing we are going to be doing is to take in our dart, which is ½ inch on both sides at the waistline, and then I'll come down by 1 inch on the bust line. I'll connect it to this dart that we took and also to the other leg of the dart. Then I'll also connect it towards my hip, just like we did for the back. Okay guys, once we are done with that, this is what we have at this point. So we are going to go ahead and insert our body measurement. So I've already done for the bust. I just added my stitching allowance to that point. So I'll also go ahead and add my under bust measurement divided by 4. I'll replace the dart intake and then add my stitching allowance. I'll do the same thing for the waistline, which is my waist divided by 4. I'll make a mark there. I'll measure whatever I have for the dart, replace it, and then add my stitching allowance. And I'll do the same thing for the hip as well. I'll mark my hip measurement divided by 4. I'll make a mark there and then add my stitching allowance to it. I'll go ahead and connect these points that we just marked. Once we are done with that, this is what I have at this point. So I'll also go ahead and come up by 1 inch at this point, and then I'll connect it to the full length of this blouse. So guys, once we are done with that, this is what we have. So we're going to go ahead and get the midpoint of our armhole. I'll connect it with my curve ruler into the bust line. So this is what we have at this point. You can see, so at that armhole area, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. You can do ½ inch on both sides, but for this tutorial I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch, and then I'll connect it back into the bust line as well. For this, I'm going to be replacing the darts that we took out just now. So I'll go up by 1 inch, and then at this point I'll also go out by 1 inch. I'll connect this point into the under bust, and then I'll use my curve ruler to connect the other part of this dart replacement. So this is what we have at this point. So I'll just bring up this to meet that up, and also this part as well. So when I went ahead to transfer this pattern, just like I said, your pattern should be your paper should be folded into 2. So I just duplicated it with my tracing ruler and whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and mark where I want my break point to kind of to be. So I use my bust point with my my bust point, which is 10 inches. So I make a mark there. I'll connect it into the other side of the armhole. So from the center of this pattern paper, I am coming to this side by 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Then I'll go down by 1.5 inches at this point. So from the other side of the pattern paper, from the center as well to the other side, I'll go out by 1.5 inches, and then I'll come down by 1.5 inches. Please, if you have any question, leave it in the comment section and I'll respond to you. So I'll go ahead and connect this point to that that point that we marked earlier at that 10 inches. Once I am done with this, I'll also from the other leg, and then I'll connect this point. So this depends on how open you want the hem area to be. So you're going to connect this point as well. So because we've already gone up by 1 inch at this point, so I'll just connect this point upward to meet that 1 inch that we just at that hem area. So guys, this is what we have. So we'll be using this line again. So I'll just go ahead and use my marker to outline this so that you guys is most visible to you. So this is the point coming from the other neckline to the break point that we have, and then to the hem of this blouse. So this is what we have at this point, and also to the other side. So once we are done with that, I'll also go ahead and connect this point onto the other, so that you guys will have a picture of what we are trying to cut out. So once I am done with that, I'll also make an indication of where I want my buttons to be, and then I'll go ahead and cut this out. If you have any question, please do well to leave it in the comment section, and I'll do well to respond to you. So once you cut this pattern out, you're going to be using just one side of it to cut out both sides of this front pattern. So once you are done cutting out one side of this pattern, you flip it over to the other side and then use it to cut out the other part of this blouse, front pattern of this blouse. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video.